Today on Studio One, before medication reaches the drugstore, it has to be tested for safety. We'll take a look at one of the testing sites for medicine. Also, many people try and lose weight. We'll talk with the man who became famous for his weight loss technique. And with the war in Iraq, many soldiers are separated from their loved ones. We'll tell you how one family is coping with having dad away for so long.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Adria Ensrud. Well, you know, spring was on its way till we got the snow.
Till it snowed again here
recently.
recently.
A little bitter, but that's okay. Anyway, and with spring, lawn care comes into play, you know? So I was looking on the internet and I saw, according to the Professional Lawn Care Association of America, they gave us a couple tips.
Okay.
So one of them was, while your lawn is frozen, this is for us here in the north, or snow-covered, keep your traffic to a minimum. Frequent walking across a frozen lawn can wear it out.
Really? Leave a path probably when the spring comes?
Yes. And then it also said, avoid driving your car or any other heavy machinery on your lawn. So I guess
maybe snowmobiles, things like that?
Yes.
People going across?
I don't know. I don't want to think about snowmobiles.
No.
So anyway, but later in the show, we are going to have somebody come on and talk a little bit about lawn care and how to take care of your lawn.
Who knows what he's talking about?
Yes, because I have no clue.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that. Also on this show, during a conflict, military bases play a vital role supporting the troops overseas. We'll take you to one Air Force base to show you how the people there are dealing with this time of war.
And it's hard to think that the littlest creatures can have the biggest problems. Premature babies can be born with many troubles lying ahead. Coming up, we'll tell you what expecting mothers can do to help prevent this from happening.
Before we get to that, here's today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. U.S. troops have captured several outlying areas of Baghdad and are charging towards the Iraqi capital. The coalition has met some resistance from Iraqi forces. U.S. military sources say the troops may not encounter more Iraqi soldiers before the forces reach the capital. U.S. troops have passed many burned-out vehicles, tanks, and dead Iraqi soldiers. They say all the Iraqis they found had gas masks as if they were preparing for a chemical attack. South of Baghdad in the city of Najaf, U.S. troops have taken control of the city and isolated Iraqi troops. Usually the U.S. troops have been welcomed in the city, but on Thursday, civilians resisted the U.S. soldiers. The troops were headed to secure a location for a religious leader in the city, but the crowd mistakenly thought the soldiers were headed to the mosque. The troops backed off and knelt with their guns pointed downwards until the intentions could be more clearly communicated. While American soldiers are fighting in the war against terrorism, officials at home are doing what they can to guard against terrorist acts. Since the level of alert was increased to orange, police officers are now required to check on critical facilities, even in smaller communities like Grand Forks, North Dakota. Each shift, the officers must drive by facilities like water treatment plants, power stations, and places that attract large gatherings of people. Officers say this job is now more important than it has been in the past.
With the heightened level of security in the country because of the Homeland Security status, we've bumped that up to being a higher responsibility. So now this is something that they will do every shift, and they'll make time in their shift to make sure their facilities in their area of responsibility are covered.
Captain Kirby says the public has the most important role. He says people should look for suspicious activity like people watching or taking pictures of public places or critical facilities. He says if someone notices suspicious activity, they should report it to the police. Good communication is a must for the U.S. military if it wants to keep things running smoothly in time of war. To accomplish that goal, the Pentagon has been scrambling to buy up time on communications satellites, but others are competing for that time. Media organizations also need the satellites for their coverage of the war in Iraq. The military depends on these satellites to send data to troops in the field, planes in the air, and even weapons in flight. The military does have some satellites of its own, but it's trying to buy up more time as a backup. With nearly 300,000 U.S. troops involved in Operation Iraqi Freedom, many military bases are emptier than usual. And for those left behind, there is an extra level of concern for their family and friends deployed overseas.
During wartime, many people would assume that things on a U.S. Air Force base are very hectic. But here at the Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota, the pace is actually slower than usual. Nearly 1/3 of the base's airmen are deployed, along with most of its planes.
We don't have much flying right now, so we study, and we have some trainees that come up. We question and answer them, and or sit here discussing, watching the war.
But even though there may be a bit less for Senior Airman Lindsay Shimmick to do these days, her mind is often occupied with thoughts of her husband.
We discuss what things are going on, how we feel about it. If we know anybody, a lot of people are deployed from that we know. Particularly my husband's already gone, so it's kind of hard, family life.
Since many families may be separated for up to a year, there are many support systems in place to help people deal with their anxieties.
Our goal is never to do for people. It's to connect them with the resources and let them get on with life. We try to maintain their resiliency. In the old mindset, the old military, we actually call them dependents. We get away from the word dependent anymore. We use the word family member because we don't want them dependent on anything.
Unfortunately, that is not always possible. Many of the airmen leave families behind when they get the call to go overseas, and that might mean a child is left at home worrying about their mom or dad. Teachers on base are doing what they can to calm their fears.
Right now they're sticking to the curriculum, but there have been times when a student may just start to cry in the middle of doing a lesson, and when the teacher finds out what the anxiousness is over, it's usually because mom or dad is away.
So while the usual routine continues at the Grand Forks Air Force Base, what is out of the ordinary is the added pressure many people here are feeling, worrying about those taking part in the war effort. I'm Sean McKenna, reporting for Studio One News.
The Grand Forks Air Base is home to one of the Air Force's refueling wings. It normally has around 50 KC-135 refueling tankers stationed there, but with the war going on, only about 5 of them are left on the base. And that's news for now. Monty and Adria?
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, people who like snow got an extra surprise this last little bit in the area.
I know, it's crazy. 3 days ago we were wearing flip-flops, and now we've got snow boots. So why don't we go check in with Nadine Schrader at the Regional Weather Information Center and see what is going on.
Well, Monty and Adria, it doesn't look like the snow is going to stop. It's actually supposed to continue throughout the evening. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the Grand Forks Almanac. Today we hit a high of 29, which was this morning. It's about 15 degrees colder than our normal for this time of year. Low was 21 we hit a couple hours ago, and our sun will set at 7:01 p.m. Currently in Grand Forks, we're sitting at a temperature of 22 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with some scattered snow flurries outside right now. Dew point at 19, relative humidity at 89%, east winds at 18 miles per hour, and our pressure at 30 inches of mercury. Currently across the region, we are seeing below average temperatures up towards the northern part of our region, 27 degrees in Fargo, 22 degrees in Minot, average temperatures out west, 34 degrees in Billings, and beautiful temperatures down in the southern part of our region, 72 degrees in Des Moines. Currently, our surface analysis shows that we are seeing some bands of snow still out throughout the northern parts of North Dakota and most of Minnesota. It will continue on throughout this weekend. Currently across the nation, we are seeing some stacked lows, creating quite a stir out towards the northwestern part. And this low pressure system will be moving its way towards the east coast as we work our way into tomorrow, creating a lot of the rain as you work farther north. Quite a bit more snow than they have seen in the past couple of days. And a high pressure system going to work its way back towards the Midwest, clearing a little bit of our skies towards this weekend. Friday's forecast calls for a high of 26 degrees, low of 15. Mostly cloudy skies with some scattered snow throughout the evening tomorrow. We're going to have some reduced visibility up to about a half mile at certain times during the day, so be careful when you're out driving. North to northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Your Studio One weather IQ question: when was the earliest recorded date a tornado has occurred in North Dakota? You have answers varying from April 15th, 1982 to March 26, 2003. Well, Monty and Adria, I'll have the answer to that question and your extended forecast coming up for you later in the show.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Right. One of those was like last week.
That was last week, so
yes.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see if that's the right answer.
I know, I am too.
All right, well, let's go now to some sports news with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. Sammy Sosa couldn't quite get the 500th home run of his career last year, so he had to wait until this season. So far, after the first 2 games, he has yet to hit a home run. He was looking to reach number 500 Thursday against the Mets. To the highlights: top of the first, no score, runners on second and third. Sosa doesn't get a home run, but rather a single to left. Mark Grudzielanek and Alex Gonzalez hustle in to score. Cubbies would go up 2-0. Top third, 3-1 Cubs, bases loaded for Moises Alou, drives one to the gap in left center. Grudzelanic and Gonzalez come in to score again. Sosa's on first, he's trying to score, but Vance Wilson with the great diving tag to get him out. Cubs would still go up 5-1. Very next batter, Eric Karros, who for some reason still playing baseball, skies it to left field. Moises Alou is going to test Cliff Floyd, but he has got an arm. Wilson with another great diving tag to get him out at home. Cubs would win 6-3. Mark Pryor picks up the first win of the season. With the melting of snow and the coming of spring, many people start to prepare themselves for a new season. This preparation is for the golf season, which is right around the corner. With the new year of golf comes brand new clubs and more advanced golf balls. But even the right equipment, many golfers can sometimes find out the hard way that their muscles are not ready for the new season. This can result in some annoying aches and pains after taking those first few swings. There are several ways to avoid these injuries and prepare your mind and body for tee time.
Both to mentally and physically prepare. Just some simple things they can do is just walk a lot, get their legs in shape. You know, the better in shape you are and the more flexible are you, the better your mind will help you get through that early part of the golf season.
Tannehill also recommends stretching out the lower back and hamstrings when preparing to play. He suggests doing slow bending and twisting exercises in order to stretch out and loosen these muscle groups. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. Who is the first player to win a Gold Glove at 2 different positions? Was it Roberto Clemente, Al Kaline, Ernie Banks, or Stan Musial? We'll get the answer to that and more sports coming up in the second half hour of the show. Monty and Adria.
Thanks a lot, Corey. The film Titanic brought to life a story that few people can forget. Director James Cameron is now taking an even closer look into the ship and its history in the film Ghosts of the Abyss.
Also, WebMD Medical News reports prematurity is the most common cause of sickness and death among newborns. This is a scary statement for many expecting mothers. Coming up, we'll talk to a nurse who will tell us about newborn prematurity.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
You're watching Studio One News. sports, and entertainment.
Many expecting mothers' only wish is that their baby will be born in good health. Sometimes that good health can be interrupted by a premature birth. Prematurity is one of the leading causes of death in newborns. Today we have university professor and registered nurse Pattie to talk about this problem. Thank you so much for coming on today.
I had to be here.
Now, a lot of people have heard the term premature in babies and things like that, but technically speaking, what exactly is prematurity?
Prematurity means when a baby is born before they were term, and we know that term is 40 weeks, but they have a 2-week leeway. So if a baby's born 38 weeks, they're considered term, but anything less than 38 weeks, then they are technically preterm. Even though we know a baby born at 37 weeks is pretty close to term.
And how common usually is prematurity in babies?
Prematurity in the U.S., there's about 76 out of every 1,000 births are premature or low birth weight.
Wow, that's a lot. And who is usually at risk for having premature babies?
Well, we have several of our categories of women, and one of them are women that are older than 35. So they are at risk for having premature births. And also our younger women, so those teenagers and those who have births younger than 18 are also at risk of having premature births.
And what are some of the causes of having a premature baby or premature delivery?
Okay, well, I say if we talk about a teenager, that some of the reasons that they have premature births is that they don't always tell anybody that they're pregnant. And so they don't recognize that, they do not see their health care provider. And so women who see their health care providers early and see them consistently throughout their pregnancy have much better outcomes of birth. They have healthy deliveries. And so a lot of times our teenagers don't do that, and they also don't have, they tend to have a diet that's not quite as healthy. They don't eat as well as they should. And so a poor diet can also contribute to prematurity. And then the women that are older than 35, as we age, everyone, we tend to get diseases, and our health is not quite as well. So that's why we see older women that tend to have premature births.
And you did mention having a poor diet. That's a behavior that can cause prematurity. Are there any other behaviors that can cause premature delivery at all?
The best thing that you can do is to seek early prenatal care and consistent prenatal care throughout your pregnancy, because that's when your health care provider can provide you the information, education that you need and pick up on those things that are going wrong early and try to prevent that and intervene early. A diet is very important. We know women need to gain weight during pregnancy because they are supporting a birth. They're developing a new human being, and so women should gain 25 to 35 pounds, an average woman, during a pregnancy. Taking folic acid is real important to preventing birth defects. All women of childbearing age should take a multivitamin with folic acid. Staying away from alcohol, not smoking, and of course staying away from any kind of recreational street drugs.
And what type of care do premature babies need when they are delivered?
They are, depending on how young they are, because we have a big age range here. You can have babies as young as 26 weeks being born or 36 weeks. And so the really young ones are going to need care in a neonatal intensive care unit where they are monitored very closely and given the interventions that they need to help them grow and develop normally.
And are there any long-term at all consequences from having from being born premature at all?
Yes, it can. Very early premature births, they can have problems with, the big problem with premature birth is not getting adequately oxygenated. And so without adequate oxygen, some of those body systems don't develop as normally as we'd like them to, particularly with brain development. So sometimes very early premature births might have central nervous system disorders like cerebral palsy and things like that.
And I know you did touch a little bit on changing your behavior when you do find out that you're pregnant and things, but what would you say would be the biggest, best advice you could give to expecting mothers to help prevent this?
Get early prenatal care, see their healthcare provider consistently throughout their pregnancy, because the healthcare provider is going to be the one that's going to be able to pick up on things and monitor and give them information that they need to know to have a healthy pregnancy.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your information with us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Motorcross is a loud, fast-paced sport. It's becoming more common to see these motorbike races indoors. We'll show you why. Also, prescription medication can reach outrageous prices at times, and many wonder whether the less expensive generic drug will be as effective as the brand name. Later, we'll look at one company that dedicates itself to testing these drugs, which give people more options.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Academy Award-winning director James Cameron travels back to the site of the Titanic. He returns to take a closer look at the legendary wreck in Disney Pictures' Ghosts of the Abyss. With a team of marine experts and historians, Cameron and his friend Bill Paxton travel to the bottom of the sea. They embark on an unscripted underwater journey. With the state-of-the-art technology made specifically for the expedition, the crew was able to see the Titanic like never before. Virtually all of the wreckage is seen inside and out with small cameras designed specifically for the project. This was the first time the ship has been seen by human eyes since the night of April 14th, 1912.
Everything was exactly where it was supposed to be. There were some surprises, certainly, but it was a very eerie experience because it was almost like a past life memory.
Some of the things found in the rooms aboard the ship include a water glass still in its holder, hats, and paintings. Cameron placed superimposed images of ghosts onto images of the actual wreck. He did this to help the audience understand the history of the Titanic and what happened that fateful night. Ghosts of the Abyss can be seen in IMAX 3D theaters and other large format theaters starting April 11th. Now time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Healthcare is expensive. Medication is one of the things people often pay high prices to use. Scientific research is helping to bring down the costs of some drugs, and ordinary people are helping the process.
When feeling under the weather, it's nice to know that you have several medication options to cure your illness. This would not be possible if it weren't for companies like PRACS Institute. For 20 years now, they have been hired by many drug companies to make sure a drug is safe before its approval. According to the Food and Drug Administration, over 1,160 generic drugs were approved within a span of 5 years. Before these drugs can reach the shelves, they must go through a strict screening process. There are 2 ways to test them, 1 on animals or 2 on humans.
At least half to 2/3 of the people in the Grand Forks, East Grand Forks area are currently taking PRACS Institute drugs. We're the ones that did the research on it. So we've had a huge impact on healthcare in the U.S.
Since most test subjects are college students, studies are usually conducted over the weekends.
In my opinion, all drugs are dangerous. That's the first thing you have to understand. There's no such thing as a safe drug.
All research performed at PRACS Institute is done with this mentality. The test subjects are monitored around the clock with frequent blood pressure checks and blood withdrawals. Dr. Carlson says the most common side effect is lightheadedness due to faint reactions to blood withdrawals.
They informed us of what was going to happen, but I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. Some of us did become sick, but they did warn us what would happen.
I'm glad I did it because I get to sit in my butt and make $800. And plus, I got to do homework that I usually don't do on the weekends, so great experience.
While opinions may differ, there is one fact that remains true. The extensive testing done at PRACS Institute allows the public more affordable options when choosing their medications. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Jill Gustafson.
More than 800 people a month participate in various PRACS Institute studies. Depending on each study, the participant is paid according to the time and risks involved. Lawns have long been a source of pride for some families. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes from looking out the front door at a beautiful green carpet of grass. Coming up, we'll talk to someone with tips on how to keep your lawn looking beautiful. Also, fast food is not always thought of as the healthy way to eat. It would definitely not be considered diet food. Coming up, we'll see how one man proved them wrong. That's story plus news, sports, and updated weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thank you for joining us today. Well, the snow is, if you have snow at home, is melting. Some of the parts of the country where we air, they already have some nice weather, which is good. But it's that time of the year where the water is standing. Mosquitoes start to breed.
I hate that time of year. Mosquitoes come out.
The biting mosquitoes come out. One of the things that people are worried about this year is the West Nile virus again.
Yes. Well, it was pretty deadly. I mean, it did kill people.
It was. People died last year across the country. The AP reported actually some of the symptoms mimic that as strokes, Parkinson's disease, polio, and doctors are warning if you have any symptoms like that during the summer months, you've got to start thinking of the West Nile virus and take precautions.
Check it out.
That's right. And coming up in the show, we also have a story on that. We'll ask your opinion on that. Also, across the nation, the families of soldiers currently called into service are anxiously awaiting their return. We'll introduce you to the wife and kids of one soldier who are trying to adjust to him being away.
And we'll talk about a man who lost almost 250 pounds. His plan was simple, but his goal was big. Coming up, we'll hear the amazing details of his story.
Also, there are many benefits to having a lawn. It can keep you cool, it absorbs sound, and it actually can help you breathe easier. Coming up, we'll talk to a lawn care specialist about maintaining a healthy lawn. Before we get to all that, here's today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. President Bush rallied more than 20,000 Marines stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina on Thursday. He gave an optimistic assessment of the coalition's progress in Iraq, reminding the Marines of the success of recent missions. The president also warned them of the challenges ahead. There are more than 17,000 Marines from Camp Lejeune taking part in the war, and several thousand more are poised to be deployed.
There's no finer sight than to see 12,000 United States Marines and corpsmen unless you happen to be a member of the Iraqi Republican Guard.
One of the first U.S. casualties of war in Iraq was honored at a ceremony in Illinois Thursday. Captain Ryan Anthony Beaupre died in a helicopter crash in Kuwait near the start of the war. There was such a large turnout that many had to listen to the ceremony outside over a loudspeaker. Former Marines traveled from across the country to attend the funeral. They say they came to show their respect for a fallen brother. From yellow ribbons to colorful banners, people across the country are using their creativity to show love and support for the troops overseas. An example of this patriotism is being demonstrated by students at the University of North Dakota as they participate in Support Your Troops Week. The Greek community, along with other student organizations, is being asked to make banners and decorate their yards in patriotic colors. Many of the houses also tied yellow ribbons around trees.
We kind of lined our trees with yellow ribbons to show our support for the troops, and I guess the yellow ribbon is, the meaning of it is in hopes of a safe return.
Students say they hope the troops will see that they are supporting them and that they are in their thoughts and prayers. Doctors now have a new tool to help them prepare for a bioterrorist attack. The Agency for the Healthcare Research and Quality is testing personal digital assistants, or PDAs, for the use in a biological attack. The PDAs can receive urgent information about a biological agent such as anthrax, smallpox, and Ebola. More than 250,000 doctors are taking part in the pilot project. If testing is successful, the PDAs will improve communication to those who would treat patients during a bioterrorism attack. With Operation Iraqi Freedom well underway, many families have been separated because their loved ones have been called to serve. These families have to make a lot of adjustments in their lives and to deal with the anxiety of having someone they love so far away.
Lisa Benson has had to wait for a lot of things in life, but probably nothing compares to waiting for her husband's safe return. Lisa's husband, Dan, is part of an engineering battalion with the Army Reserves. He's now stationed in Colorado, but at some point could be sent overseas. In February, with just 4 days' notice, Dan had to say goodbye to Lisa and the kids and leave his home in Grand Forks, North Dakota. It could be a year or more before he returns.
When we talk about a year, I think that's a hard thing to understand, but a year is, when Krista turns 7, that's going to be a year.
Lisa says it's best for her 3 young children, Krista, Erica, and Joshua, to maintain a regular schedule while their father is away. She says without Dan, raising the children by herself can be challenging, and so can answering their questions about why their daddy is gone.
We try and keep it very basic and ways that they can understand it. We talk a lot about Dan being in the Army and that he is working for our country and is helping our country to be safe.
Each day, the family lights a candle and says a prayer for Dan's safe return. Lisa says even though it's hard having him gone, she realizes his mission is an important one.
I'm very proud of Dan and all of our troops of the sacrifice that they make to help our country. These are just, regular people that are going out and doing an extraordinary thing for our country and, protecting us.
And many would say that something else that is extraordinary is how families like the Bensons are able to make it through this difficult time. I'm Holly Bell reporting for Studio One News.
Lisa says it's important for people to show their support for families like hers who have a spouse serving in the military. She says just a phone call to let the family know they are being thought of can mean a lot. And that's news for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, you could probably say that the weather turned on a dime here lately.
I know it did, What's up with that? I don't understand it. Well, why don't we check in with Nadine Trader? Because I would love to see some sunshine sometime. So let's check in with her at the Regional Weather Information Center.
Well, Monty and Adria, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing sunshine until later this week and early next week. But before we get to the extended forecast, let's take a look at our current conditions in Grand Forks. Currently in Grand Forks, we're sitting at a temperature of 22 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Still seeing some snow showers outside with those east winds at 22 miles per hour. It's amazing to believe that just a few days ago we were sitting at temperatures well above 60 degrees, and now we're currently sitting right around 22. But when it comes to the weather during the early spring in the Northern Plains, it's amazing that anything is possible.
April is one of the most active months during the year for extreme weather events in the Midwest. There can be radical changes in temperature, thunderstorms, and even blizzards, just to name a few. One day in the Northern Plains, you can have 70-degree temperatures, and the next day, you can have a foot of snow on the ground. Times like this can really make for a challenging forecast situation.
Where you're going to have rain on one end, where you might have freezing rain in a band, and where you're going to have snow and heavy snow accumulations. So this is the time of the year.
Spring is a time of transition. The cold winter air is beginning to recede and the warm air is taking its place. When the warm, moist air from the south and the cold, dry air from the north collide, this is where you see massive storm systems erupt. They create the wide variety of severe weather we're accustomed to seeing this time of year.
For weather lovers, the springtime is a wonderful opportunity to experience all the seasons in just a few months. Unfortunately, it's quite a headache for forecasters. For Studio One, I'm John Randall.
Well, early springtime forecasts are sometimes difficult to forecast, but today being no different, as we are expected to see that snow stay through this evening as the winter storm advisory did die down from what it was earlier today. We're supposed to accumulate 1 to 4 inches, and we work our way through the rest of the weekend. We're expecting the sun to pop out again on Sunday, and our high on Monday right around 38 degrees. Your answer to your Studio One Weather IQ question: when was the earliest recorded date a tornado has occurred in North Dakota? The answer is D, March 26, 2003, which actually was last Wednesday. It was about 40 miles south of Devil's Lake. Well, Monty and Adria, it looks like the snow's expected to stay. Sorry about that one.
Well, I was going to say that was last week. So what would be the next earliest time we did see a tornado?
What was the record breaker?
The record breaker actually was on April 1st, early 1980s. So we haven't seen one in March until as of last week.
Well, thank you so much, Nadine.
You're welcome.
All right, we beat it by a few days.
I know.
Go tornado.
Right.
All right, let's go now to sports news again with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Adria. In recent years, there have been a lot of outdoor sports customized and moved inside arenas. Arena Cross is just one of those, an indoor version of the popular motocross racing.
Just like superheroes, these racers fly through the air at amazing speeds. Speeds that in most cities would be illegal.
You know, if you think about getting hurt, you're not going to do good. You just ride and you just be smart about it.
In a sport where speed plays such a big role, the racers have to constantly stay prepared. Arena Cross lets racers do just that.
Probably from about December on through the end of March is the Arena Cross. It's just a way for the riders to keep on top of things year-round.
Racers vary in age from 4 to 50, and even the younger kids get in on the high-flying act.
To see the little kids and stuff, some of the jumps and stuff they do, it's just unreal.
Because staying focused is so important, racers learn what it takes early on.
Yeah, I try not to think about it. I just think about, whatever comes natural.
Just if you think about it and practice a lot and you're in good condition, workout, the chances of getting hurt, slim down a lot.
While safety is on a lot of people's minds, racers say the sport is as much about friends as it is racing.
Get to race against your competitors and make some friends. It's really fun.
Fun for those who like to fly off jumps and hopefully land safely. The Arena Cross season runs from December through March, and then the outdoor version of the sport, Motocross, starts up at the end of April. Now the answer to this week's Studio and Sports trivia question: who was the first player to win a Gold Glove at 2 different positions? Our answer is B. Al Kaline, won it 3 times, once as a right fielder and twice as a center fielder. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Adria.
Thanks, Corey. Well, the West Nile virus created quite a panic last summer through the country. Coming up, we'll listen to some of your thoughts on how you might be preparing for the upcoming season of mosquitoes.
Also, losing weight can be tough, and many people never find the right diet. Jared was lucky. Later, we'll hear how a submarine sandwich changed a life. That story is next on Studio One.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
The world learned of the West Nile disease after numerous reported deaths last year. This disease carried by mosquitoes is expected to continue spreading this year. Doctors are advising people to take extra precautions when outdoors. We wanted your thoughts on how you are going to change your lifestyle due to the West Nile disease.
Just spray the backyard and make sure you don't have standing water and put bug spray on.
No, I don't think so.
just take normal precautions that we normally do and to be healthy, and that's all.
I'm not going to change my lifestyle for mosquitoes. I mean, I'll swat them off me, but, you know, other than that, I won't do anything.
Wear more clothes, use more bug spray, probably not be outside as much.
I don't think I'm particularly at risk for West Nile anyway, so I guess the city sprays for the mosquitoes and stuff. And, well, I did talk to my neighbor about maybe getting one of those mosquito repellents.
Fast food is usually out of the question when people think of dieting. One college student thought otherwise and created his own convenient fast food diet.
I could do anything. Jogging, playing basketball.
You know him by name, you know him by his size. But most of all, you know him as the Subway guy. Jared Fogle was a junior in college and weighed 425 pounds when he finally decided it was time to start losing weight. At 21 years old, he moved out of the dorms and conveniently shared a wall with a Subway restaurant.
But I just happened to stumble in there one day and picked up a nutritional brochure and added up the fat and the calories and said, you know, if I were to eat just 2 of these low-fat Subway sandwiches a day, maybe this could finally work for me.
Those sandwiches were a 6-inch turkey piled with vegetables and a foot-long veggie delight. His diet consisted of only those 2 sandwiches, a bag of baked chips, and 2 diet sodas.
I'd rather eat my calories than drink them.
Not only did Jared eat Subway sandwiches, he also walked 1 to 1.5 miles a day. 1 year and 245 pounds lighter, a story about Jared was published in his college newspaper. After being on the media information feed, Subway caught wind and soon discovered their star.
I know how fortunate I am, and I know how lucky I am because I just wanted to lose the weight. You know, I never expected any of this. I never envisioned any of this. You know, in fact, I would have been just fine without it.
Well, the Jared phenomena is here, and many people are up and willing to try Jared's Subway diet.
Jared is all we hear about these days, and being a Weight Watcher myself, you know, I was just curious as what is the magic key.
Jared's weight loss story has led him on a world tour. He has visited all 50 states, multiple countries, and has been featured on many popular television shows.
If you're going to be a role model at all for anybody, it's nice to have a positive story with it, I think, you know, and if I'm going to be known for something, I'll take being known as Jared, the Subway guy.
Jared has always loved fast food, and now Subway is loving him back. With photographer Troy Clifton, I'm Nadine Schrader, reporting for Studio One.
Jared says it was hard to go on this diet as he got many cravings during his first few months. It was a dramatic change for him. He used to eat a whole pizza and a pint of ice cream for one meal. He adds the cravings were a small price compared to getting his life back. Maintaining a healthy lawn can be cheaper and easier than some might expect. It can be as simple as when you water, how often you mow, and if you fertilize. Next, we'll talk with a man who will give us some great suggestions for the spring season.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
Whether you do it yourself or you hire a lawn service, people take pride in their lawns. With the spring approaching, we wanted to know what the right steps were for having beautiful green grass all summer long. Here to share some tips on lawn care with us today is lawn care specialist Mark Phillips.
Hi, how you doing?
Thanks for coming here today.
Thanks.
Well, first of all, I got to tell you, 4 days ago when we didn't have snow, and now we do, 4 days ago, I was watching my neighbor mow his lawn, and I was thinking, should he be doing that? It just seemed too early. What about people that jump right away as soon as the snow goes and gets on their lawn? How does that affect lawn care?
Well, it's not going to do anything positive or negative, really. Basically, this time of year, with the grass hasn't really started to grow yet. In maybe small little areas it does, but mostly if you mow, all you're going to be doing is blowing around any dead grass, leaves, sticks. I mean, you can help clean stuff up, but you're really not improving the quality of your lawn.
And that's what it seemed like he was doing. Basically, was that pretty much all he was doing, is blowing around the dead grass?
Yeah, if you bag it, you're going to pick up some dead grass and leaves and sticks and stuff like that. Sure. But it's still a little early yet to do any good.
In this area. Well, the one question I had for you is I didn't get to mowing my lawn at the end of the season last year. It was a pretty long before I got to it. So it actually, this spring now that the snow uncovers and I see my long lawn, is that bad to leave long grass over the winter like that?
No, it's not bad as much as it just means now you're going to have longer dead grass to pick up when you do finally rake your yard or whatever. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to make it harder to clean up, say now in the spring, and probably if your grass is really long, it meant that it was either really hard to clean it up last fall or maybe you never got around to it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now another thing is, dog owners usually let their pets out all winter long to do their business in the backyard, and then in the spring thaw happens and there's presents all over the lawn. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it not matter?
It's not really going to hurt anything unless you have an area of your yard where a lot of water pools up. It's going to be more of an aesthetically unpleasing thing. There might be some odor, and it just will be messy to clean up, but overall, it's not going to kill your grass unless, like I said, if you have a bunch pooled up in a low area of your lawn. But it's nice to pick it up.
Well, with winter leaving us, spring here, people are just itching to get out there. What can people be doing now in preparation for the season ahead?
Okay, what you want to do now is do some cleanup. Just because of the winter and the wind, it blows garbage around, so you're going to want to pick up all your garbage, any sticks or leaves that are left from last fall, and then raking your grass, getting rid of all the dead grass that dies over the winter. You want to rake that up and allow for the grass is still alive to sprout.
Sure.
So basically just clean up stuff is what you want to do in the spring.
Okay. Now, you work for a lawn service. What can a lawn service do for people other than just people doing things themselves? What are the extra things a lawn service can do?
Well, there's a couple things that are going to help your grass. The first thing would be power raking, which is something that is really good to do in the spring.
And we have video of that.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So we'll roll that, and you can just tell us, what does a power rake do? Why would we want to do this with
Well, a power rake it does the same thing as just raking would do, but it's going to take you a lot less time to do a yard. Like you can see on the monitor there. It looks kind of like a lawnmower, and it's got metal blades that spin around really fast, and oh yeah, you can see out the back here. You can see that dead grass.
There's
just
a lot of dead grass there.
Right, and that's dead grass that most people don't see, and here you can tell the amount.
Okay.
After you go over with the power rake, you rake it up into big piles like that. And then
you got to get rid of that stuff then.
Right, it impedes the growing. It helps
Okay.
Helps the new grass grow.
We have some other video of another thing that you said was good to do, and that was aerate your lawn.
Now, aerating something that a lawn service can do for you, and basically what it's going to do is it rolls the grass flat, helps flatten out the land, and then it's got the little cores that actually pull out little plugs of the soil, and they allow for the roots grow, and it allows water and any chemicals that you spray in your lawn to penetrate the soil and helps improve the growing.
What are some of the more major mistakes people make when caring for their lawn?
I would say the major thing is cutting your grass too short in the summer.
How long should it be?
Well, I recommend anywhere from 2.5 to 3 inches is a good length. In a real dry, hot summer, you're going to want to keep your grass a little bit longer so it doesn't dry out.
Sure.
And if it's too long, it's going to bend over and then it dies. And if you've seen a long grass, you just want to keep it manageable.
One last question. Watering is a big thing. When is the best time to water?
I would say water in the morning hours or early afternoon. Give it the time for the water to soak into the soil and then allow the sunlight to do its job.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch for coming on today and giving us some lawn care tips. I'm sure everybody's itching to get out there.
Yeah, they are.
Thanks
a lot.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One and we'll spend a day in the life of a teacher. She doesn't teach math or English, however. She teaches others the craft of hairstyling. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of a program for children called ArtWise. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.